Black Widow Deadly Origin variant and Red Guardian are confirmed for next month. Incursion issues are still in-game and frustrating players. And everybody gets free revives, but it's a big mistake though. Yes, hello everybody, and welcome back to the Marvel Contest of Champions news for Wednesday. It's halfway through the week, people, and if you're on lockdown, you kind of think of things to do. So hopefully you're playing the game and listening along at home, and we can get into some news-based topics for Marvel Contest of Champions. And as always, just before I get into the video, I want to give a massive thank you to my current patrons, YouTube members, and Twitch subs. And if you do have an Amazon Prime account and want to give a free Twitch sub, then go to the link in the description and obviously follow the on-screen instructions. I've also had a few people say that they're not seeing the Twitch logo appear, and I think it's because Twitch Prime or something is not available in your area, but that's a Twitch issue or an Amazon issue for that, so sorry about that. But as well, you can give love for free by hitting the like button, subscribing with post notifications on all, so when news pings up, you get to see it, and as well, hit the comment section down below to have a chat. Let's have a chat, shall we? Also, just a little bit of a warning, I will be dealing with a very serious topic in the first story that we cover, and then it's going to be just into the normal way of delivery. I'm not being insensitive, I just don't want the full piece of the news being, you know, down. Obviously, it's a time where I want to make sure I'm putting as much energy as possible, but there is a serious topic I want to deliver and talk about in the first story. So yeah, our first story, and it's a serious one, is that unfortunately a player within our community has passed away recently. This was not connected to the coronavirus. This was due to a long-suffering battle with cancer, and it is very sad to find out that this has happened. And this is Dark Knight. Obviously, there's an ask to change your profile picture to Magic for this, if people would do that for a time. And as well, this is Paul. Paul Carroll is the person that we're talking about. This is Dark Knight. He's gone through a lot of troubles in his life, and it is obviously sad. You know, life is beautiful, but at the same time, it can be rather unfair. And obviously, our thoughts go up to Dark Knight's family, his alliances. You know, just a case of like, it's a very sad thing. There's a video that's been put out, there'll be a link in the description, and it's just a nice tribute to Dark Knight if you would like to give it your consideration. And now on with the news, and let's talk about flow. Now, for a lot of players, they don't really take this into consideration. This is more kind of a top flight thing, and as you can read here, critical strikes against #control defenders grant a power gain buff, causing them to gain 45% of their max power over 15 seconds. If the defender is stunned, the power gain is removed. Yeah, sort of good, but it depends where it's placed with the defense tactic, and other stuff does mean the function could be quite broken. As this player alludes to here with Magic, Iron Man, Infinity War, Dormammu, Guillotine 2099, Heimdall, Mr. Sinister, Mojo, Mordo, Punisher 2099, and Warlock. And also, as you can see here, it's not a power gain buff, it's a power gain passive, or an effect, whatever it's going to be called this week. This thread got no response at the time of, say, April 6th, April 7th, where we're going into, and we could even be up to like all these pages. Like, where's Kabam going to intervene with this and have their say? Now, there's been literally texts and texts of people just agreeing, disagreeing, talking about strategies and stuff. And finally, there was an answer by Kabam yesterday, and wasn't really the response. So this one is very much out there for the Court of MCOC community opinion on the matter, whether or not you feel that the flow node is broken. It does seem it's a little bit broken, especially with the way it's meant to be a buff rather than it's a passive effect now. So it's kind of weird on the terminology. But Mickey says, just wanted to drop in to remind you to please keep it civil. Yeah, it wasn't really that civil, and obviously that's the way I've skipped through a lot of it. I'll be passing the feedback on to the team for the discussion. I think that you have discovered, oh, I like that, just like it turns into Sherlock Holmes there. If you think you might have discovered a bug, elementary, my dear Watson, I may have discovered a bug with a node, please post a separate thread in the bug section. I mean, you could say, you know, just leave it with, we're passing your feedback on to the team, and that's fine, because it does look like there's an issue. It should be a buff, not a passive. Which Integral's post makes me laugh, because it's like, Node says, they gain a power gain buff, which is not a buff when fighting. It's a passive! But in any case, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think that Kabam should sort this out ASAP? Why haven't they taken a look at this? You know, it's a bit weird. Do you think they're going to change the description? Who knows? In our next bit of news, and just to let you know that episode 12 of the Contest Round podcast is out, we talk about things like double crossing. I actually talk about my alliance free time that I've had at the moment, and obviously comparing that with what's going on with other people. Obviously it's interesting to see about what's going on with this particular bug with the flow. But as well, we're talking about high cutoffs, Storm Pyramid X, game stability, and whole host of other things. And also wrapped up in a nice little 15-minute episode. So go check it out, links are in the description down below. Next up, and amazing news, we're going to be getting a Black Widow event next month. Now, this was something that, look, you know, it was pretty much given out by Marvel Future Fight that we're going to be seeing something from their perspective. But it's something that we talked about in the podcast yesterday. The fact is, the amount of time and effort goes into this stuff to then go, right, well, do you know what, Kabam, you can't do anything more. It's like saying that, well, they can't exactly take an event that they're building at the time for this kind of release and go, do you know what, we'll save it. We'll just like copy and paste it into a separate drive and then we'll bring it back on when it comes to like 6 months down the line when the film gets actually released. That's not the case. If Kabam did that, they'd be incredibly behind in any kind of work that they're meant to be doing. Now, obviously from an outfit perspective, when it comes to what they're going to look like, we're still very much in the dark, and I really need to go a bit further to explain the deadly origin. Yeah, even though that I was thinking that we could see Yelena Belova, which, you know, we're not going to see, which is a little bit disappointing because I do feel that we've got like a really just cause to kind of put in a nice grouping between Red Guardian, Yelena Belova, and the Black Widow currently in game, which synergizes quite well and has something of a kick-ass synergy that makes the old Black Widow more OP. I don't know, I'm still excited to see like what synergies can be placed with this champion, and as well where Red Guardian factors into it. By the way, I'll do a comic book history video tomorrow. I'll do like, but how hyped are thou? Put it down in the comments section down below and rejoice, because we'll be getting a really decent suit. I'm really happy for this because I just feel that this would be like a nice addition. And as well, it's going to be exciting to see like where the face modeling goes. Is it going to be very much Scarlett Johansson? Is it going to be, you know, something close to the one that we've got in game? That's something that's going to be quite cool to find out, and it is going to be good to have a, hopefully, fingers crossed, kick-ass version of Black Widow in game. Well, the 5-star's not too bad actually. Next up, and we've had yet more complaints about Incursions. And Incursions suffer the similar kind of problems that Dungeons had, a lot with the random matchups and, say, you know, relying on other people. I would recommend anybody to make sure they partner up correctly. I would welcome and urge other MCC YouTubers to help out people lower than them, because this is one of the issues that, you know, if you can trust in somebody to get you up to about 8 to 10 rooms or zones, sorry, that's something that is going to be vitally important to a lot of players. So try best you can to help out others, especially if you are higher up. You know, if you've done it, that's great. Just think about, you know, giving an hour, 2 hours to those that maybe don't or haven't got the ability to get to those rooms based on random opponents and people they can't rely on. Now, one of the biggest problems out of last week was pairing up with somebody, because it always seemed to like bump you off and you were always like disconnected, which Kabam were aware of and they looked to fix. The most recent update is as follows. By Kabam Zibbit saying, we're aware that the issue has continued popping up for some players and are working on more permanent resolutions for this issue to keep it from popping up in the meantime. We're also going to be running some short-term fixes that will clear things up for players when the issue occurs. There is also a lot of other little inconsistencies with Incursions, and I really hope that during a lot of this kind of scheduled maintenance, which I think one was yesterday, that Kabam has a resolution for a lot of this stuff. But it looks like it could be a case that a more kind of like bigger fix and bigger build could be more towards the end of the month. And as well with the new update, it also means that it has a chance to refresh some of these things that haven't been working. But let's face it, there has been a lot of inconsistencies over the last week and a bit, where we've had things like the game's down, but it could be linked to Incursions, still yet to find out. But let's hope by the end of the month and a new update that this could see this all being sorted out. I'm trying to be positive here. Right, everybody, let's dance to a little jig, for the Irish are back. Yes, we got the Feelin Green event back again. What's the story with that? And did you like the Irish jig? So yeah, I think a lot of people were very surprised to see the Feelin Green event return today. Very, very weird, because it's a Tuesday. Normally, like, stuff like this can drop on a Wednesday. I'm not saying that it shouldn't drop on a Tuesday, but it is very strange. This was all very strange because it all kind of aligned with what is, it's not 17th of March, obviously, that was last month, but the way that it kind of works out with the weeks and the scheduling could be that Kabam forgot to take out the event that would go scheduled for that kind of point of being the sort of third week of the month, or third Tuesday of the month. So therefore, was this a big mistake by Kabam in putting this in? The answer was yes, with Kabam MK saying that it was a bug, and it's St. Patrick's Day again. So, oh god. Either way, the event is going to stay, so make sure you grind out, use your Hulks and any of those green type champions in stuff like Road to Labyrinth and the first ever quest, and as well just maybe some low end content with the 2-star version if you're lower down, so you will have lots of opportunity, and it is great to see this little thing. Unfortunately, it wasn't a thing on purpose, because if it was on purpose you kind of go like, hey, yeah, really good. Now I'm kind of like, sort of good, Kabam. You get like a, not thumbs up, but kind of thumbs confusingly sideways type. Now on to our final story, which is arena predictions. All my predictions are down below at the moment for you to check out, and do remember I do time code it for anybody interested. So the 5-star version of Morningstar, which is a great champion by the way, I will probably rank 5ing mine at a later date after I do all my crystal openings and see what I get, because it's a great champion for Incursions, fantastic when you build up all those souls, and I think it's getting a big resurgence of popularity, which I love. So yeah, for this one, I do think that 40 mil is going to be safe for this, as well with the increase of popularity, and as well the weekend grinders, and obviously with everyone being home with what's going on at the moment in the world. The 4-star version, I think 7.5 mil, again, I think it's fair. I would have normally gone for about 6.5, but I feel, again, popularity, incursions, utility, and so many other factors gives this a 7.5. A 3-star version, I'm going with 900k, and then finally the basic for man thing over there, you know, just keep your man thing to yourself, I don't want to see your man thing, I'm going with 2.5 mil, which I think again is fair. I don't think it's hyped as much as a champion. It's definitely got a lot of fun and just kind of like decent damage output and decent poisons. Ipso facto, Brian Grant's videos on him, and I do like him. I just think that I'm just utilizing a few other champions after I've done Act 6, is to then maybe consider him and some obscure champions in the future as well. But that has been my predictions. And don't forget to check out some fresh content up here. Check out some other things here. My second channel, which I've now named Rich's Realm, and more on that in the future. Thanks as well for the support on that one, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye for now.